G'day, John Canny here. Today I thought I'd talk to you about what I consider are the essential pieces of equipment you need to be taking with you if you're travelling into the more remote or off the beaten track areas, particularly if you're a single vehicle. And I normally travel as a single vehicle, and I think that's okay as long as you're properly prepared. So what do I think are the essentials? Well, let's start. I'll just throw this in because I always take tools with me. So this is my crash pad tool roll, and I've done a review on this previously, so I'll put the link at the end of this video to this tool roll and what I've got in it if you'd like to look at that. But obviously we've got to have some tools. So what else? A decent first aid kit. Okay, you need to make sure it's properly stocked, it's up to date, and it's got what you need for your trip. So you can buy a good quality first aid kit almost anywhere. So I recommend you get one of these. Of course, you've probably already got one. If not, make sure, if you do it, make sure it's up to date. I also have this little attachment with it. Now, this is a snakebite kit. In Australia, we've got lots of snakes out there, and most of them can do a lot of harm. So as long as you've got some good strong bandages in here, then maybe you don't need this, because it really only contains some proper decent bandages. So make sure you update yourself on what to do if you happen to be unlucky enough to be confronted with a snake bite. Okay, very important. Don't forget to throw in a box of matches. You know, you never know when you might need a bit of heat or a little fire or whatever it might be. It's always great to have some method of lighting a fire. So you might have a Bic lighter in the car, or you might have, if you're an outdoor person, maybe you've got a ferro rod and all sorts of things, but something to light a fire. You never know, you might even need it to protect yourself from a bushfire. So what else? So the last thing you want to be doing is being stuck out in the middle of nowhere with a flat battery. Look, I've got a good overland battery in my car. It's fairly new, and the reason it's fairly new is because I ran the other one flat a couple of times, and I had to use this. Now this is a Gulu jump starter. This is a pretty good quality one, probably middle of the road, not an El Cheapo, that's for sure, and not an extremely expensive one. So, but it does the job. Comes with all the attachments that you can plug in and use it, or use it as a torch or whatever. But it's certainly, this is a Gulu 2000. Got it on Amazon. Starts the Ford Ranger, no problem at all. So you can get, you know, more powerful ones than this if you've got a heavier duty vehicle. But you know, so just do a bit of research, get one that suits your vehicle. But look, you know, can't start your battery. And I know we've all got dual batteries and lots of other things and everything else, but one of those I reckon is essential. And you can't beat carrying a good old jumper leads. I have a set of jumper leads, always carried a set of jumper leads in my car, whether I'm helping out somebody else or need them myself. They're light, they're easy to carry, don't leave home without them. So what else have I got? With all of those things, good set of strong leather gloves. These are only El Cheapo riggers gloves. You know, I guess they're not the best in comfort and things, but if you need to be grabbing things and protecting your hands, a pair of leather riggers gloves, can't beat them. Fire extinguisher. Most vehicles have probably got them. You've probably got one in your vehicle. Okay, great. If you haven't, get one. They're not expensive. This one is a dry chemical, which most of them are, and that's what you need. You don't need anything beyond that. Now, this particular one here is a 1 kilogram. You'll notice it's got a hose. Now, a lot of them just have like a spout there, and yeah, they're fine, okay? But I think the ones with a bit of hose on them can be more useful, okay? You've got an engine fire, you don't want to open that bonnet completely, you can stick it in under the side and, you know, give her a good dose of dry powder, or you can get it into nooks and crannies or whatever. Really handy to have one with that. Now the other thing with these things is they don't need much maintenance, okay? This one's got a little gauge on it and it shows green, and they generally always show green with these dry powders because nothing much happens to them. What does happen to them is they sit in your car and they go jig, 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 and then finally they tend to compact the dry powder in the bottom, okay? So the only maintenance they really require is to take them out of the holder and get a rubber mallet and just give them a few gentle bangs around the base in particular, just to loosen up the powder and make sure the powder's still loose and hasn't compacted in the bottom. And you know, I used in the fire brigade, that's how we used to service these things. Speaking and using the fire brigade, and many years involved in road rescue, I always carry one of these. It's a glass breaker basically, and a seatbelt cutter. Now, why do you need one of these? Well, if you find yourself trapped in water for some reason, and that can happen, and we've seen some tragedies in recent times, you can't get out of your vehicle because if you've got water around there, the pressure's often too much to open the doors and the vehicle slowly fills with water. So you might need this to break the window, one of the windows, to get out, because you can't break them easily without something like this. So one of these is really handy for that, but also if you come across a motor vehicle accident or something like that and you need to get to somebody in a motor vehicle, you might need to break the windscreen or the side windows. Very handy. Plus you've got the seatbelt cutter there if you need to free somebody. Look, they're only light, they're only cheap. Put one in the glove box. You know, I've got this Velcro down next to the footwell where everybody can get to it. Something pretty valuable to have. Speaking of value, you need you know, a radio in your car. Like, you know, we know these radios, and most of you have probably got one in your vehicle. But look, here's another idea. This is a little 2-watt handheld job that I carry with me as well. Now, it has a couple of purposes. One is it's really good for, you know, backing up or trying to get around some tricky stuff or through water. Someone needs to give you a guide. They can talk to you on one of these rather than trying to yell or wave or whatever. The other thing is if you leave camp, you know, someone in your group wants to leave, go for a bit of a wander, you know, stick this in their pocket. You know, they can always talk to you on the radio if they get lost or need some help. So not expensive, $100. That's a 2-watter, does the job. I wouldn't rely on it as my main radio, but yeah, it's handy. This one, I've done a video on these before. This is the Zolio. It is a satellite communication device. This one you don't leave home without, under any circumstances, in my opinion, if you're going remote. Okay, when we don't have phone signal, particularly if we're a single vehicle, we've got no way of calling for help if we need it, or find somebody that needs help. So this device is not expensive. I've done a full review on this. Strongly recommend it. It enables you to not only call emergency services no matter where you are on the planet, but these devices are so good now because you can actually send messages or even emails back and forth from your family and friends as well, regardless of whether you've got phone service or not. So check out the video on this if you haven't already seen it. Essential. There's some others around, of course. Garmin have one. It's about twice the cost of that, which is, it's only $300 odd, $350. But Garmin have one that's about double that, but I'm sure it's very good as well. Obviously a torch. Always carry a torch in the car with me. This is a particular one is an O-Light Warrior. It's a tiny little torch, but really powerful. I've got a lot of torches, so I might do a video on my torches and what I carry in the van, how I carry them and what they're good for. Now, the other thing I carry is this. It's a Japanese silky saw. Now, silky saws, in my opinion, make some of the best little, trimming saws that you can get. They have a whole lot of different sizes. They have a small folding one, which is really great to put in your toolkit. I carry this one because I've had it for a long time. It'll get you out of trouble if you've got a branch across the road or something like that. Look, if you had to cut a decent sized log, I reckon you could do it with this if you're prepared to take the time to get you out of trouble. They're light, they're easy, they work really good, and I carry a small chainsaw as well and all that in the van, but this is, I'm talking about in the car. This is, you may not want to carry chainsaws and things. They're really good. The other thing is a good knife of some sort. I'm a bit of a knife fan and a knife collector, so I've got quite a collection of knives if you're interested. But this is just, look, any decent pocket knife or folding knife will do, just as long as you've got a decent sharp blade in the car. This is a little open L. They're great little French knives. They're about $15. They've been around, I think, for 100 years or so. They've got a great blade on them. They're sharp as a razor, and they're reliable, and they're not sort of flimsy junk that's going to fall apart, yet they're not expensive. Always important to have a good sharp knife for emergencies in the car. Now, speaking of sharp things, this is an Estwing camper's axe, they call it. It's light, but it's capable. Okay, so Estwing is an American brand, and this is made in the USA. It's what they call full tang, so it's one piece of metal right down through the handle, so it's strong. I know Estwing from my days in the construction industry. This tool will last a lifetime. It's sharp, it's tough, it's not too heavy. I don't like carrying a full axe because of the weight and the size. This thing is enough to be able to split wood. It's more than a tomahawk. It can act as a hammer, it can smash things, it can do lots of things. Recommend something like this. Look, I know that Gerber have a light camper's axe too, which is pretty good. It's a bit cheaper than this. It's quite expensive. I think this was a couple of $100 at one of the big tool shops, but I managed to find it for about $50 cheaper than that. The Gerber one, I think, which is also very good. The green one is about $100. You need to carry an axe for whatever circumstances you might find you need one. This thing. Okay, so you're out there, you've got your spare tyre or your 2 spare tyres or your repair kit or whatever, but you've got to get the wheel nuts off. You took your car in, you got your vehicle in, you got it serviced, and they put the bloody things on with a hydraulic wrench, and you're out there and you're trying to get it on with this. And look, in emergency and to carry it for rare occasions, they're okay. You can buy them for about $20. They're better than that sort of one that comes with your vehicle in a lot of vehicles. But to me, this is what I've got. Now, what it is, it's a decent 600mm long wrench, handle, bar. So I get a bit of leverage, and I've got a good quality, what's this, is Teng tools. So they make really good tools. I lashed out, that was about $35 or $39. It's a 19mm that fits my car and my camper. But you know what? I know one thing for sure is that if I need to take a wheel nut off, I'm not going to strip it, and I'm going to be able to get it off with a bit of tension. I'm not going to be killing myself with that thing trying to get it off. So really important. Speaking of wheel nuts, I might do a short video on the problem with wheel nuts on Ford Rangers, because that is a real problem. But that's a separate issue. So they're the things that I think are really important to take with you. Recovery gear is separate, understand that. If you can subscribe to my videos, I'd really appreciate it. And I hope this has been helpful and you've got a bit of a checklist now. Thank you for watching.